Retro anime. How did we find it? How does it hold up? Unpacking the ins and outs of being an old school nerd and proving that 80s kids can't remember a damn thing right. These are the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd.
Welcome to Mindless Midlife Musings of the Anime Nerd. I'm Rick, and I'm joined by the rest of our panel, Lynette, Vic, and Brian. Hello, everyone.
How's it going, people?
Missed you guys.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we had a chance to record, so it's good to be back. Today, we called a Goddess Helpline for consultation as we summon Belldandy and her sisters to help navigate love and college life in Oh My Goddess. Oh My Goddess, also known as Ah My Goddess, is a 1993 OVA series based on the 1988 Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Kosuke Fujishima. The series follows a college sophomore, Keiichi Morisato, and the goddess Belldandy, who moves in with him. AIC, KSS, TBS, and Kodansha teamed up to and developed the Oh My Goddess 5-episode OVA in 1993, and it was directed by Hiroaki Goda, my pronunciation notwithstanding. So the OVA was licensed for release in North America by Animego, who released all 5 episodes on VHS in 1994. It saw DVD releases in 2001, 2006 as well. So actively, I don't know where anyone interested can find the original 5-episode OVA other than Sailing the Seven Seas, but the Animego lost their license, and I think it was like 2010. So who knows where you might be able to find it. This is the sophomore outing, or Kosuke Fujishima, who originally did You're Under Arrest. He later found his niche in video game character design. He went on to work on such projects as Gungrave, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of the Abyss, Tales of Zestiria, like a whole bunch of those games as a character designer. So he didn't really do a lot of manga after this. He did like one more, I think, and then he just sort of like branched off into video game character design, which is sort of an interesting arc for a manga writer who is as tremendously successful as he was, because Oh My Goddess is oh my god fucking popular. This thing spawned movies and sequel series and spin-off series and television specials and fucking video games, and it ran for like 20 years. It was long. It's a very tremendously successful franchise. So along with You're Under Arrest, which was also tremendously successful for him. I guess when you got that much popularity and notoriety, you kind of just pick and choose your projects. So just
Right?
I'm gonna do character design. Let's do that. So yeah, this
That's what he wants.
right? All right. So this is actually an interesting sort of thing for me, this anime, because I first saw it because of a bootlegger. I worked at Blockbuster at the time, and we had a customer who would come in and rent from our air quote animation section constantly, and I ended up getting to talking to him about some of the stuff in our animation section. And he started talking my ear off about Oh My Goddess. And I was like, yeah, dude, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. He was like, oh man, no worries, I got you. And then he came in like a couple days later with some VHS bootlegs of all 5 episodes. And he lent them to me. And that was how I first saw this anime. It was this like 3rd string bootleg VHS tapes that were fan subbed. And it was before they had seen an official release in the States. So yeah, it was
And sub.
it was yeah, oh yeah, it was fan
back
sub.
then were like a dedicated art form.
Yeah, it was fan subbed. It was pretty cool, and I remembered it vividly because the guy was singing the series praises, and I'm like, okay, and he tried to explain it to me as kind of like a Tenchi Muyo thing. I'm like, okay, well, I like Tenchi, that's cool, and then he proceeded to lend me these, and yeah, so it was probably one of my
Whoa. I feel like you're skipping some important information after that. You said
Go on.
he lent it to you. He has
Yeah.
set it up for Tenchi Muyo. You
Yeah.
watch it, and
Yeah.
what was your thought?
Oh, I mean, I feel like that was a pretty apt description. Like it's kind of in that same vein. It's not so much a harem anime like Tenchi Muyo turns into, but it's definitely sort of that science fantasy rom-com sort of thing. I mean, this thing screams telenovela. If ever there was one. But yeah, no, I mean, so I fell in love with the animation, despite being a third issue VHS copy of a copy. It still was beautiful.
I pause again. I want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. You're introduced to this based on your experience of working at Blockbuster.
Yeah, it was a
Customer comes in, talks this off, tells you it is one thing. It's like, does he give you a pretty good description of it, saying it's Tenchi Muyo except, or does he say if you like Tenchi Muyo, you'll like this?
It was more like that. It was more like if you like Tenchi Muyo, you'll probably like this. And I was like, all right, cool. And he kind of like explained how it's a guy who ends up with a goddess as living with them. And I'm like, okay, like that's sure. I mean, a baseline that's a similar premise in the sense of you look at Tenchi Muyo like it's a kid who ends up with a demon living with him. It's the best way to. So yeah, it was certainly the first time it was the first time I'd ever met a random anime fan. Like most of the time it was us. Like I'd talk to you guys about it or whatever. It was the first time I'd met somebody that was a customer that was a genuine anime fan. And then it was also the first time I'd been dealt a series of bootlegs that I remember. So after that, the floodgates opened and, bootlegs started to become a little bit easier for us to find.
That old little comic shop on Bird Road.
The comic shop on Bird Road. And then there was the shop that Brian worked at. Not you, Brian, other Brian. He worked at. That's where I first picked up Ranma. Like it was, the floodgates kind of started to open around that time for anime.
Like we have options that don't cost $30 for 2 episodes.
For sure.
Have you guys ever experienced that where somebody has said it's like something, you watch it, and it's not like that, and you instantly do not like it because
it doesn't hold a candle to that concept?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's happened to me, sure. This wasn't a case of that for me, but it has happened to me with other things. Like anybody who said, hey, you should watch Art of Fighting. It's like Street Fighter. No, it isn't. No, it wasn't.
Lynette, do you have anything that you compare to that anime-wise?
Anime-wise?
Somebody told you it's like this, and you got it, and you're like, this guy was high, because it's nothing like this.
Huh. Oh, no, not really.
What's yours, B?
I'm trying to... I have an interesting... I don't think I have anything like that. Mine is more like, this is going to be awesome, and then you watch it and you're like, what?
Or, I mean, that's a lot more common. Somebody thinks something's incredible and you watch it and you go, I don't see it, man. Like,
usually happens
cool,
with like movies.
Like, good for you. Glad you liked it. That kind of thing.
Like to look for the weird ones. Like I found out that there's an all-male version of Sailor Moon out there. I have to get the name of it. But yes, there's an all-male version of Sailor Moon.
And by saying that, all I can think of right now is that Freddy Sailor Mercury cosplay from a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta
that
look
was
it up
good
now.
shit.
Are we talking about is an animated version that a Sailor Moon?
Yes, it's an actual thing.
I feel like when Andrea hears this part of her is going to cry.
Yeah, because we're gonna have.
If she doesn't already know about it.
We're gonna have to find it for the show notes.
I think curiosity is gonna hit first, and then she'll cry.
Oh man! So, had any of you ever seen Oh My Goddess, this particular version of Oh My Goddess, before we watched it for the show?
I've watched maybe an episode or two. That's about the extent of it. I've never seen all 5.
That's an interesting thing.
Recently.
Next, Vic, you are a resident anime guru. And you couldn't watch the entire thing?
There
Yeah.
isn't enough time in the day to watch everything.
Especially this day and age.
Ah, come to find out, I don't think I have ever heard Vic even bring this one up in just random talking.
Because I haven't seen enough of it.
This is certainly outside of our usual wheelhouse. Like, this is probably the most wholesome thing outside of a Ghibli film that we've ever had to review or that we've ever reviewed. I look at our back catalog and I'm like, this is definitely the sweetest thing we've reviewed that isn't a Ghibli movie.
Right? Now, to be fair, I've known of the characters the whole time. I've just never sat down to watch them.
Yeah, the characters are pretty infamous.
And just want to make sure this is a very extremely popular series.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If
So much so that it's one of those things where it's like people may not have ever seen the anime but still know who the characters are, kind of thing.
look, they've made more of this than say something like, I don't know, Akira.
Yes, Brian. As a matter of fact, they have. There was this
Yeah.
series, a movie in 2000, mini Goddess series in 98, a new TV series that ran for 2 seasons in 2005, and a TV special in 2007. This had video games for the PCFX, the Dreamcast, and the PS2.
Like, this seems like this would be right up our good friend Vic's. Everything about this sounds like he should have been an authority of this one. I am having a hard time grasping the concept that he does not know this much about this series.
Brian, between working and playing video games, that doesn't leave a whole lot of time for much of everything else.
No, I'm
No.
with you. If I'm not doing this as a slight, I am saying
At
that,
all.
man, what could it be about this series that could not hold your attention?
Well, let's dig into it and find out.
It's not that it couldn't hold my attention.
Huh?
This episode's about.
I said, let's dig into this and let's find out what we're dealing. First and foremost, it's 5 episodes. 5,
Yeah.
a little longer than half-hour episodes, something like
Yeah, a
that.
little longer. Nobody's
So
counting.
not a huge ask to sit down and give this a watch.
Hey, watch.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the intro is banger. I loved it. I think it's adorable, and it's one of those interesting things with anime where the characters, a lot of the characters that are in the intro don't appear in the anime because clearly they did the intro. He's probably around the book, and then none of this stuff ended up being usable or part of their finished storyline kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
It happens quite
Is it-
often.
Like, you would think, basically, you're saying that this intro overpromised and it didn't deliver on the promise.
It didn't deliver on the characters. Yeah, didn't deliver. No.
I am. I feel like that is grounds for, I don't know. Does that hurt a little that they promised you something and they didn't give it to you?
No, not really. I don't know what was promised other than the character design.
Like,
Brian,
The whole
Brian,
we're talking about the intro, right? Nobody
Yeah.
got on a damn broom. Nobody got on a vacuum. They had nothing to do with transportation about this. They made it seem like transportation was not even an issue, barely inconvenience. So I'm hurt by that. Nobody else is hurt.
no, I was okay.
Not even
But Brian,
remotely.
Brian, I feel like you've got more about this series that you can want to get off your chest.
Oh no. I have to pace myself. I don't want to splooge my whole load. So
So
No,
the
Brian,
first
Brian.
the first episode starts with our hero Keiichi, a sophomore in college, left to, I guess, man the dorm, and he's trying to call to order out, and he dials the wrong number.
Or I just wanted some food.
Yeah, in his frustration, he dials the wrong number and accidentally accesses the Goddess Helpline, and then is immediately granted a free in-home consultation. To which He, of course, doesn't buy into it, thinks it's a joke because who wouldn't? And makes the foolhardy wish to have this beautiful goddess in front of him stay with him forever. No big deal.
I'd like to point out that they make it seem like it's happening randomly, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
That-
this is the implication being that he just dialed the wrong number and so
the
happened to
implication being he dialed the wrong number. Somehow
yeah
he got connected.
to heaven itself,
Heaven.
and he got his.
Fair enough.
It's like I kind of need that number.
I
got complaints.
I like how he's obviously not buying it because of course he's not, and then she's like not understanding him, and he's like, "Look, I can understand why you might be confused. Stand up and come over here. See, I'm short as fuck, so I can't get a girl. This is my problem."
Right.
She's like, "What are you talking about?" So yeah, he makes a wish that is granted by the heavens themselves, which is again hilarious, and gets called out later. And I appreciate that it gets called out later by Belldandy's own sister, who's like, "Why would they even approve this?" It's asking the right questions.
Can we just talk about that name, Belldandy?
Belldandy, yeah.
I have never heard a name like that before in my life. Like, typically, like, it doesn't scream Japanese goddess.
No.
It screams like American Western schoolmarm.
I was gonna go with 1960s hippie,
Yeah.
like a flower child. Like,
Right, a flower child.
yeah, like come on, Sky, let's go hang out with Belldandy.
I think it's the dandy part. The dandy made it
Yeah.
seem.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that made it sound like, oh,
If they left it at Bell, that probably would have been fine. But no, the dandy part just sold it on being a hippie.
And then her other sisters, Erd and Skuld,
Gold.
totally different feeling. Belldandy itself. Yeah.
It sounds like, they asked the mother, what would you like her name to be? And she got hit with a really bad cramp and went, Erd. That was it. Like they're like, yeah,
And they didn't question it. They're just like, okay, Erd is one or
What would you like your daughter's name? Erd. There you go.
those names are, wow. It did not fit. It did not fit.
No, so it's kind of interesting. Based on they don't really get into it in the anime itself, but some of the research I read about the manga is that apparently they lean a little bit into sort of like Norse style mythology for
Okay, all right.
the arrangement of the hierarchy and all that. Because apparently there's like an Isidral and there's a Valhalla and there's like they kind of like play with that terminology and sort of lean into that a little bit. So it's sort of like a hybridization of different sorts of like, afterlife or religion. So, but yeah, the names
think
were
that-
intentionally not to be Japanese.
So, all right. So they're intentionally not to be Japanese. They leaned
Yeah.
upon the Norse, not necessarily. It's not like they were walking around like Valkyries or anything like that. They just said, we're just
Right.
gonna, you know what? Let's go with these guys
Yeah.
for the names.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I feel like, and I obviously can't say for sure, but they allude to these characters being distinctly un-Japanese, right? Like Sayoko, the friend, calls her out as being an exchange student when that isn't really ever like established. So she clearly appears Anglo to the Japanese people, you know what I mean? And in story. So they're not intended to be or feel like Japanese characters at all. Goddesses are supposed to be not from around here by design.
The implication of that, and I wish that they would just spell that portion out as opposed to making us infer that. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it change your perspective on the anime? Do you feel like it's negatively affects it? To me, it didn't really matter, just because none of anything that happened with goddesses or with the heaven or any of that stuff felt distinctly Japanese to me. If anything, it felt almost alien. Like everything about it felt, again, in the realm of a tenchi, where it was sort of like otherworldly, less than afterlife or heavenly. Like even when they show Skull in heaven and she's squashing bugs, it didn't look like ethereal. It looked otherworldly.
I would like to say that nothing, no information that comes out in this episode is going to change my opinion of this wonderful series.
Right, cool. Well, at least we know where that's going. So
I'm in love. Nothing.
The OVA is beautiful. For lack of a better word, the whole thing there's a softness to it. There's this, they use a watercolor aesthetic in a lot of the promotional artwork, and I feel like that watercolor aesthetic is really bleeded into the series. Like all the backgrounds have like this high key sort of watercolor kind of tone to it, and it really kind of just helps the characters stand out a lot. Visually, it was a very unique thing that I hadn't seen at the time. So looking back on it now and being able to piece together what it was that made it feel different visually for me was kind of nice, because I hadn't revisited this anime since I saw it back in the 90s. But yeah, artistically, very 90s.
That's what
Character
I'm saying.
design.
When he gave you the bootleg versions of them, did you give them back to him? Did you have to give them back to him?
Yes, sir. They were his. He was lending them to me. He lent them to me, and I lent him stuff, and we started this deal where, I would lend him some stuff I had, he would lend me stuff that, that he had, but that was the, but Oh My Goddess was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. Heiichi, our sophomore, has gotten himself a goddess. She lives with him now. That lasts about 3 seconds before his dorm brothers come in and have zero chill. Kick his ass to the curb.
Toss him out.
Can't do that.
They go so far as to carry him down.
Yeah. No
they
chill.
Put his shoes and things in one part, and then just carry him down, and then give him his shoes back as they kick him out.
Yeah,
like no discussion, no chance for him to defend himself. Nothing. It's like, oh, you've got a female. You're done.
Yeah, bye.
And for some reason, he's totally chill about it.
Yeah, did not freak out.
He's very, very zen. He's like, it's fine. It'll work out. It'll be cool. We're good.
Now, it seems like during this moment, right? I could have sworn she says, hey, it'll probably be easier if you don't tell them I'm a goddess, right? Did she say that to him?
I don't think she does, because she's all too eager to tell everyone she's a goddess. Like, he didn't want his sister to know she was a goddess, and she damn near spat it out, and he had to, stop her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was he was the one that didn't want it.
Yeah,
mentioned.
He decided that would make things more complicated.
Or, they'll probably no one would believe him.
There's, the deal about the ultimate force, keeping them together and all that.
He has already made the statement that, look, nobody's going to believe that you're with me because of the fact that I am so short. So he doesn't offer a plausible reason.
I mean, he doesn't get a chance.
Yeah, not even a fetish. Like, she's really into short dudes.
Right, yeah. And, from out of town, clearly, as you can see. And, she's just really into short dude. I mean, he was not given a chance. He could have just been she was just dropping off the takeout. Literally no opportunity, because they came in. They're like, no, you got to go. And they put him on the street. Which is fine, because as it turns out, Belldandy is also a human GPS. And she's more than capable of giving him explicit directions to his next living facility.
Renovations.
Yeah, she's great at renovations and construction, too.
Look, it is obvious that having a goddess live with you has its perks, and built-in handy person, built-in GPS. She cooks, she cleans, she does the laundry. She basically like a servant, almost slave-like. And this definitely doesn't come up again later. So
And just to make sure, the place that she finds for them used to be a shrine.
it's a temple, yeah. It's a temple.
It's a temple.
That has importance to the story later, but you don't know it at the time. You're just like, well, she just takes him to this temple, and the heavens have clearly divined that they will be okay to live there. And she even tells him, I've gotten permission for us to stay here. No more questions are asked after that point. It's just like, oh, cool, well, fine, I guess. We'll just stay here. The part that gets me, which is really interesting, is that suddenly everybody in fucking Japan knows where they are.
Everybody knows where they are.
His sister shows up with money. His dorm room brothers, they show up with all his shit. Like, it's just suddenly everybody knows where they are. It was just kind of one of those things. And then, it's they don't explain it, so you just kind of got to decide for yourself how that worked out. Is it because she's a goddess? Is it because it's anime and we don't need to explain that because that would take too long? It's like,
Hey, who knows? Maybe it'll be brought up in one of the movies of the other series.
Yeah, they were very
Or-
very heavy-handed with the Deus Ex Machina, basically.
no,
It's like,
absolutely. Yeah, very, very
you're just gonna
heavy-handed
pull
with
out
it.
the hand of God. That's it.
Yeah,
that's
it.
No need to explain. We have just ended every question with this answer.
This anime has a lot of standard anime pratfalls. The main characters clumsy, the embarrassment of tumbling onto the girl. This is probably some of the earliest exposure to a lot of the storytelling tropes that they use in anime constantly.
They'll do
nobody
nowadays for a
fuck-
lot of them.
Yeah, nobody fucking communicates like at
Mhm.
all.
Oh, that's just real
You
life.
just- And Fujishima, the author, gets to show his love of automobiles again by making Keiichi be part of an auto club. If you remember, and you're under arrest, the guy loves his automotives. So happy to do his engine porn, I guess. Fine, it's cute. It's a pretty basic first episode. Let's meet the characters. Here we are. Bunch of magic, yada, yada, yada. And you're off. You're off to the races. Everything's better because he has Belldandy by his side. Until it's not. So, to episode 2, which is kind of fun. It's in its own way because we're introduced to Erd through Goddess Films' Sexy Dynamite Part 2. Name of the infamous porn that Keiichi thinks he's going to watch before he gets foot fetished to the face by Belldandy's sister Erd.
Messed up, because some people would pay for that.
Right. It's this episode. It starts off, and I felt a little uncomfortable because Belldandy's starting to feel a little bit more like a mother or a maid in this episode than a companion. I guess they're going for the she's the perfect wife kind of thing, but she was doing all the cooking and she was doing all the cleaning, and he's just sitting there doing his schoolwork or bills or whatever the fuck he's doing, and the whole thing felt very cringe for me. Especially in this day and age, when I understand what they were trying to do with it.
It was very weird.
And then,
it was very weird to have that type of platonic dynamic, and then all of a sudden the older sister is out there going, "Get it on, get it on."
right? So
if not, I'm gonna roofie you. If you don't,
seriously,
you don't get it on, I'm gonna roofie you, and then you're gonna have to get it on.
Erd shows up, and she is obsessed with getting her sister laid. And I have no idea why. And Erd never explains herself. She just insisted that they gotta get it on. And
this feels like we actually expressed this type of urgency of hurrying up and getting with the story during Outlanders. We were talking about all the shit that was happening in Outlanders, and we say, "Look, we don't have time to talk about
right.
it."
We don't have time talking about this. But
So
legitimately, 5 episodes. This is longer than Outlanders. They had time. They just chose not to talk about this.
Just a little bit of an explanation would be fine. Well, then the fact, what really got me was in the end, Belldandy found out that her sister was trying to roofie the boy. And the first thing she says is just like, oh, Erd, why'd you have to do that? Like, she's no fear, no worry,
Dude,
no
so
nothing.
after trying to Hadouken her sister, and then and Erd's like, yo, chill, all right? It was just like a love potion. And then Belldandy's like, well, give him the antidote. You got to cure him of this. And she's like, oh, yeah, I really can't. Sorry. And I'm like, that's it? We're done with trying to kill your sister about this. You just, like, relegate yourself to you're fucked.
You're fucked or get fucked. I think it's more like get fucked.
I think it was both.
There was a urgency that never got explained. But the one thing it did do was show Erd's role in this. Erd's the fuck up. She's the fuck up sister. She's supposed to be doing system maintenance. She clearly ain't doing that. She's trying to get her sister laid. She can't do it, not with the mellow oil, whatever the fuck they called it. So did you guys all watch it subbed or did you watch it dubbed?
Subbed.
Subbed. Brian?
I don't even remember.
Cool. So in the Japanese version, your Erd brings out the suntan lotion, and the gag is that it'll make Belldandy feel mellow. It's like this, mellow, and a mellow. And in the English version, they totally took that part out. In the English dub, he just like goes awoo, some shit like that. It's really stupid. But the mellow is a funny gag, and they didn't keep it for the English dub. Oh, but yeah, so the suntan oil doesn't work. The fucking love potion number 9 doesn't work. Like,
number 9
trying. Well, yeah, come on. Erd's trying too damn hard with no explanation. And the only thing that becomes consistently clear is that Erd is a fuck up and she just can't seem to nail anything. And this is, made clear by the fact that she's fired or put on probation, I guess, by the heavens themselves via orbital beam laser, because it's also good for instant messaging.
Right.
Deliver a message by orbital beam cannon that she's demoted, I guess. So the whole episode we're only on the second episode and it's already a beach episode. So, there's that. Worth noting. At least there was no onsen episode. It was just, we had a beach episode. Filled with Keiichi's idiocy. It's clear Keiichi can't swim, but he puts her in a raft and paddles too fucking far out in this inflatable raft for a man who can't swim. And yeah. So, Keiichi's an idiot. Erd's a fuck up. That's this episode.
Should be together. Those two should be together.
The world would probably end.
Yeah, that would probably be the end of the world.
We're also introduced to Sayoko in this episode, who has zero fucking chill. She's Belldandy, and she's like, "Bitch, gots to go." Just instantly, like nothing. Does not.
He has a level of stalkerishness that is very scary.
It is.
I was mildly afraid. I was like, wow, this is supposed to be a lighthearted thing, and you are really putting in, what is it? Alicia Silverstone Crush. She went to Alicia Silverstone Crush level with her obsessiveness. I was like, oh my god.
There's
which doesn't make sense.
No.
And the reason why it doesn't make sense. Yeah, Sayoko feeling like there was
like a threat, like insta hate, like it felt like she was
because
threatened by Belldandy than anything else.
He has like the emotional IQ of a gnat. Like he doesn't perceive anything, has no idea.
But here's the thing, though. He has already said that. Listen, it's not like I have many people lining up my dance card.
Right. Yeah,
because I'm so short.
I'm so short. I can't get a girl.
I can't get a girl.
Sayoko was
She
definitely
should have had a
pissed.
wide open lane.
They should have already
Should've-
been married and had 2.5 kids by now. I mean,
Right.
that's
I'm just imagining just a pair of legs being the 0.5 kid walking around.
The
You're
0.5
right, you're
kid
right.
is him just being on tippy toes. I mean,
if he can't get a girl, if it's so difficult for him, Sayoko, who's clearly popular, she's got an army of cocks running around behind her, and she's nervous about having Belldandy around. How does she word it? This woman is not to be trifled with, or some shit like that. And I'm like, she's just getting suntan oil on. Calm down.
you know,
Yeah.
she feels like Biko in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely, there's a Biko vibe there. Yeah.
It's hilarious
I
because
don't
Belldandy wasn't really a threat to anything she wanted to do.
Clearly, because she didn't want to do Keiichi.
If she did,
Till-
with the love potion number 9, she probably would have been all over him, but she wasn't.
Right? Until episode 5 or something, where she implies, jokingly to Belldandy that she might steal Keiichi from her. I'm like,
Oh,
bitch,
yeah.
that ship done sailed. Like, clearly missed whatever boat that was, and you're obviously very bitter about this. So yeah, she's got no chill. I don't know what her deal is. Some telenovela shit, and it's fine because she's barely in it, so it's not like it's a huge, important plot point. But it's one of those things where it's like, this is maybe wasted. Like, we probably didn't need her.
Yeah.
you could have
It's
explained
fine.
Erd a little bit more.
But
Yeah,
we
we
don't
don't
have
need her.
time to get upset with this. We're
We
going to
don't
keep moving on.
We don't have time for that.
We need conflict. We need conflict. Because I'm telling
That's
you,
it. We need
there was no
conflict.
really. I think the most violence that there was when Belldandy got smacked. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Dude, violence. And that's bad. Because I was sitting there going, we need violence. I don't understand.
This
It
whole
was too soft. I was waiting for like an explosion or like we're talking about heaven. I'm waiting for like a wrath of God type thing. The
No,
heavens
you got an
going
orbital
crazy.
beam
No,
laser.
none of that. It was very, very. I don't.
this anime is very saccharine. It's very saccharine.
Yes.
Everything's so fucking sweght. Like, it just
Yes,
like
I
even
needed
in
insulin after this thing because it was.
even in their
I couldn't eat
That
candy.
diabetes.
Couldn't eat candy.
even
This thing
at
was-
their angriest, the rival characters were still trying to be sweet. Like Skuld, who clearly hates Keiichi at first for obvious reasons. She shows up in the next episode. She's squashing bugs. It's so fucking cute. Even the bugs are fucking cute. And it's clear that Skuld sees Belldandy as Keiichi's slave. Like, you can see when she's like enjoying this meal and everything. And I totally respect that point of view because as far as she's concerned, Keiichi wished that fate on Belldandy and he's her enslaver. She even calls out the absurdity of the contract being approved. He's angry that, she's there doing menial chores and being just like housewifey and all that shit. Skuld is calling out all the shit. And even at the end of that very episode, she's like, I guess it's alright. This is fine. There's very, very little conflict. Whole lot of sweet. There's just everybody's sweet. I do like at the beginning of episode 3 how Erd can't handle being a muggle. Like, she's listening to Belldandy sing her little egg song as she's cooking, and Erd's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ!"
Yeah. Yes, I love
I'll
that.
fucking do it.
I thought for sure that episode would be great. She got like the sledgehammer. She's hitting the cute little bunny spider things. I was like, she's
Yeah.
gonna haul off and smack Keiichi. I'm waiting for that one where she just hits him, and then like kidnaps her own sister.
Right.
But it doesn't work like that.
No, I mean she does smack the shit out of him, damn near drown him. So there's that. She
Does
shows
do
up
that.
in his bath. She does knock him the fuck out, which is worthwhile. Especially had she have known the situation, she probably would have swung that hammer a little bit harder. But nevertheless,
he definitely would be dead if she knew.
Yeah.
This is also the racing episode, right?
Yeah, that's a racing episode. Belldandy does jack shit to explain her situation to her sisters.
Nope.
I get that she doesn't tell Keiichi about her situation because it's implied in the flashback that she was going to be killed if she didn't wipe his memory. So I can understand her not wanting to tell him because she's afraid she could be killed. But not explaining to her sisters her situation caused so much unnecessary conflict. You and her sisters are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Keeping your promise. What the horse shit is this? Skull's like, what the fuck's up with this contract? Everybody just wants to go home. And Belldandy does jack shit to communicate with her siblings about her situation, which could have resolved half the problems. But she doesn't.
And then proceeds to get herself listed as part of a bet. And doesn't even argue.
Dude, I'm like, all right, the human trafficking implications in this anime is really ramping up. We start with, I'm going to wish that you're my servant, basically with me for all time. And then my roommates or my dorm mates, like, I don't know, frat brothers, whatever, they're legit going to, like, pawn you
Bet
off.
his girlfriend.
Yes,
Yeah, betting.
his girlfriend.
I can't even fathom having friends that would bet my girl. My girl. Bet your
My
own girl.
And he
Bet my
doesn't say anything. He doesn't say
Nothing.
anything. Nothing.
Nothing. Because everybody's so fucking sweet. Nobody wants to. So
You
yeah,
know,
it's the
mean,
racing episode.
Even the skinny guy who's like, I can't wait till you're part of our biker gang. And
Seriously.
it doesn't even seem bad. Like, I feel like if he won, they would have had like a knitting circle or something.
Right.
Like you
Been like, so for our first date, it's book club. Let's read.
Yes. I mean, I feel like what he would do is he would be like, so I heard about these amazing egg song. Can you sing us the egg song? You know, we won you now, so we want the egg song. I mean, I feel like that would be the extent of the stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is dark, but in like a really nice, elementary school way. You know?
Yeah.
Like the video where I saw where the little kid gets poked in the chest and he's like, you hurt my heart. You hurt. That's what the whole series felt like. It was like two little, a big group of toddlers, and one of them goes punk, and the other one goes, you hurt my heart. My heart.
So my mother watches all these the Korean dramas, the Korean rom-com drama things that, are like really popular on Netflix and shit right now. And I'm like, this is an anime for her. This is about as intense as any of those. You know what I mean? It's like there's very minimal conflict. There's very minimal, like it's very simple and sweet. And that's like, it's a Hallmark movie. That's what this is. This is a fucking Hallmark movie as an anime. That's what this
like
is.
The level of wholesomeness. It's like the entire series is just the OAV. It's just 100% pure wholesomeness.
It's a fucking Hallmark movie. That's what this is. I'm glad I was able to finally find the words for what I was trying to say about this. Even something as simple as Skull sabotaging Keiichi so she can get her sister back. Like, that whole arc could have been worse. Lasted about 3 minutes. Episode 3 also has it's the first time in the story where they start laying seeds to what the greater story is about. Like, they start laying seeds about Belldandy's, like, when Keiichi's talking to Skull, and he's like, oh, I feel like I've known her since childhood. They're like laying seeds about that. And the whole thing with the ring, seeing the ring after the race and how he wants to get it for her, but he can't afford it. Like, this is where they start laying those seeds for their climax. But then we get to episode 4, and it starts off hard. This is our breakup arc, is episode 4. What's it like to break up with a goddess? That's basically what happens here. Forcibly breaking up. It starts with the whole promise ring, and he's dreaming about giving her the ring, and you can just kind of see Belldandy's like afraid, knowing now, having finished it, that she's afraid that he's starting to remember, or she's hopeful that he started, or one of the two. And yeah, this whole episode starts at whole. This is it. We're starting the climax here. This is how it all begins. But it does start with a really great snowball fight. Just gotta say, I was into it. I was into it. And then it's funny because they go outside and then you find out that winter's only happening at the temple, and everybody's looking at them like, "Are you guys okay? Like, the fuck?" But yes, and I love that he blames Erd as soon as he realizes that the snow's only falling on them. He's like, "Erd, what the fuck did you do?"
Yes.
It's like, yeah, the fuck up would have absolutely been responsible for this. But no, you find out it's bugs, lots of bugs, bunnies
Those weird
with their
bunny spider thingies.
bunny spider things, fucking everywhere. And I see what you did there, anime. I see what you did. You had Skuld convert a rice cooker into a bug catcher. I saw that.
I saw that too.
That's to you.
Yep.
That shit was clever girl. So how do you get a story arc when an anime is so saccharine that you can't have any genuine conflict? How do you create a breakup arc? A
You have
black
God
hole
Call.
tearing apart the fabric of time space between two people. That's how you do it.
The
So no
universe
choice.
does not allow y'all to be together.
Universe itself.
Then it all starts with a telephone call.
Yeah, God calls.
God calls.
God
God
calls. Like,
calls.
hey, it's God. Just gonna let you know that yeah, I'm bringing you back. Shit's really falling apart up here. Need you back. We're gonna cancel your contract. You have 3 days.
Yeah. He wanted 1, he got 3. We got to cancel this. I don't know how this happened.
Yeah, I don't know how anything works up here. Okay,
We don't have time to talk about it.
I'm just God. Okay, I don't know how any of this shit works. If you guys aren't here, who's killing my bugs? Who's cooking my meals? Who's singing my fucking egg songs?
You and Skuld need to come back. She stays down there.
Right, Erd, no, fuck that. She's a fuck up. Erd can stay, but you got to come back. You have 3 days.
Yeah.
It's gonna take.
I don't have time to
take
tell
me.
you why though.
It's gonna take me as God 3 days to get this space elevator to bring you home. So you gotta.
Yeah, you better
3
be on
days.
it. You better be on
Gotta
it.
be
bitch.
ready.
No,
And shit.
don't be
Shit
late.
to
Don't
do.
be fucking late.
Yes. Or so help me. You are.
So come to me. I will rain down orbital beam lasers on you.
Do you remember when I fight your sister? You remember when I fight your sister?
That's right. Remember that?
I just put one hand on her, but she got the fucking message. You want that? You want that?
She's got her 3 days. For 3 days to get her shit together because she's got to go home. And at this point, Keiichi's feeling the pressure and he wants to keep his promise to her. He starts getting every job he can, save up his dollars. Got to keep his promise. So look, I get keeping your promises and all, but still. This is the first time that Erd and Skuld start behaving like good sisters and trying to help Belldandy despite the fact that neither one of them actually approve of her relationship. They start trying to help. To figure out a way for her to stay.
We're saying that Erd does not approve of the relationship.
She doesn't improve the relationship. She just wanted her to get boned. It wasn't.
Yeah,
There wasn't really. There was no relationship thought in her brain. She just wanted her to get a piece and then go.
It was pure. It was purely sex. She just wanted her sister laid. That was it. And
she wanted it bagged, tagged, and then back into heaven. That's pretty much.
That's it. Yeah. Tap that shit and send her home. Spring break's over, goddammit. That's all it was. She wanted Belldandy to have her woo girl moment. Send her home.
Not a woo girl. Oh, not a woo girl. Oh my God.
So, and it's funny because Erd is obviously this overly sexualized character. Like even in the previous episode, she's got that like carnival outfit. She's cheering on the racing team, and she's obviously the one that's sexualized intentionally. So that being said, they still never explain why she's insistent that Belldandy, when honestly it should be Erd just trying to get at itch scratched, but nevertheless, neither one of them really approve of Keiichi. But yet both of them love their sister enough that this is where they start to actually show that they care enough about her. They want to help her stay. So I respect that because I haven't really been happy with either one of the sisters up until this point. But it's nice to see them start to care about their sister a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Sayoko is back. She's back a little bit just to lay some bitchiness down for no reason at all. Just, I heard you broke up with him.
No reason
It's
at
like,
all.
fuck,
She's such a sweet bitch. She's such a sweet bitch.
get out of here. Like, that's the worst she had, though. Worst she had. It's like, I heard you broke up with him. Like, where you going? What's going on? Whatever.
I have to admit, I love the inflection you just used for her voice. I thought, what's going on?
What's going on? I don't understand. Why are you doing like that?
All she missed was
Basically-
the snap. The snap.
Seriously. Jesus. Keiichi is
I can
trying
tell you
in
put a lot of
earnest.
effort. You put a lot of effort into that voice, and I want to let you know that I appreciate your work.
Thank you.
I
Thank
will
you.
almost say I wish you actually did some voiceover work with talents like
if-
that.
Specifically, I would want to play Sayoko. I feel like that's my calling.
Yeah.
So,
I
so
can't
yeah,
wait.
the whole thing is this build up to this breakup thing and how God's gonna take Belldandy back, and Keiichi wants to fulfill his promise to her, and he's trying really, really fucking hard to get this ring for some reason, and they don't really spell it out for you because they're saving that for the next episode. But that's basically the
very
whole
end.
episode. Gotta break up because the heavens want it to happen.
Then don't they put like Belldandy in a cage?
Basically, yeah. But I think it's like the beginning of the next episode. Anyway, it's all bleeds together at this point. They build a cell for Belldandy for her own safety.
Yes,
And,
and she's not,
yeah.
not upset. She's not upset at all. She knits.
No, she's cool. She's
She
cool.
knit-
She's just like, she knits him a sweater and she like still makes him food. And you bring this to him. No, he's asleep.
Why can't she?
Um,
Why can't she? Because they can't be around each other.
can't be around each other. Yeah.
They can't. Why can't they? We have no time to talk about this.
So their answer is to put a goddess behind bars when they should have
Yeah.
created Keiichi. That mean you
Yeah.
crate that boy and then let the goddesses
Yeah.
do the work, right? But
And
no,
let
no,
them figure it out. See, I think, and I'm not defending this in any way, but it is pretty clear that Belldandy doesn't want her sisters to do what they're doing, right? She's afraid. I don't know if she's just afraid of being unmade or if she's too fucking sweet to disobey her own god, whatever it is.
Or
she's-
she's like, look, I don't want you to fuck this up anymore.
Right, or that. Bird, you are notoriously a fuck up. Let's not do this.
Right?
Nevertheless,
Let's
Erd's like,
not-
no, we're doing it
seriously.
anyway.
Your plan is to go against God with a spell. There's no way that you can not fuck this up.
Yeah, you're like, Erd, you couldn't mix eggs. You're gonna do a magic circle and stop God himself from bringing me home.
Stop. God who gives you your I mean,
You know,
hold.
they're like,
hold-
we're not doing this shit. So Erd already knows she's fucked anyway. Motivation's a little cloudy, but the goal is earnest. She wants her sister to get what she wants, even though it does benefit her personally. That's fine. I'll take it. As close to a win as you get out of that character. This whole last episode is Keiichi working. Keiichi's working. He's working for 3/4 of the episode is him doing odd jobs, delivering for Domino's, doing construction work, everything he can to save up the money, buy Belldandy a ring. Why that one? That's the one he wants. I don't know what to tell you. So, you do find out in episode 5 that this whole story takes place over the course of 9 months, from the beginning to end. They've been together 9 months. It's one of the few times that there's actually a clear timetable laid out for an anime. Most of the time you just been together and it's just been a while. So I get the recall notice. Like, I get God's like, I don't know how shit works. I need somebody here to work things. But why?
And-
And they never explained it. Go ahead.
When we say recall notice, or is it one of those like a factory recall notice? Like, hey, listen, your airbags are
Your
really
goddess
faulty,
is broken.
so we need to bring it back. Just to fix it, and we'll give you a new
I mean,
goddess.
They call it a recall notice. At no point did they imply they were sending him a new one. But here's the thing that didn't make any sense to me, really. I mean, I understand a lot of stuff we didn't have time for, but this is one that I really, really needed time for. They don't explain why she has to erase herself from his memory this time. I get why she did it when they were kids, and they do that in the flashback right at the end. But this time, she starts erasing herself from the pictures. And I'm like, she's getting recalled. Bird's not going home. And that could be a little awkward if there's a bunch of pictures of just Keiichi, there's a random goddess living with him, and he doesn't remember her sister. Like, what are they doing? Like, why does she have to not exist in photos? Like, she's wiping herself out. They had no intention of wiping his memory either. She's just getting shipped home by orbital laser.
I would like to say for the record, I thank you for bringing up this wonderful question. We don't have time to answer it, so let's move on.
Nobody does. It's not answered. It's not explained in any capacity. You're just supposed to feel sad because she's removing herself from the photo.
And I love the fact that you are taking time to posit this. And we just don't have time. It is the majesty, it's the mysticism of our Lord and Savior that you have to deal with it. Let's move along. Thank you, though. We'll put it in the suggestion box. And somebody will be here to give you an answer. Not today, not right now, later. Move on.
So, on the DL, Erd and Skuld have been working very hard to get the ultimate magic circle of warding to work. They can save their sister from having to be recalled. Belldandy finds out. She's very displeased. Erd's like, yeah, I don't fucking care. We're doing this anyway.
Yep.
And she's like, doing it now. So they do the thing. And surprise, surprise, it works. Belldandy's still here. She hasn't left. And Keiichi's dead? No, he's not dead. He's just in a coma, Duke.
Mm-hmm.
He's just in a coma. It's fine. So Belldandy jumps into his subconscious, and that's when we get the full story. Full flashback. The whole they played together as children, childhood love. It's very fucking sweet. Super cute. Belldandy's adorable. It all works out. I don't know how it works out. Ain't got time for that. But Keiichi wakes up. Yay, everybody's happy. And then God sends a message via orbital beam laser, because again, it's the best way to instant message your friends. And lays his placard down on the ground. Skuld and Erd both get demoted, because no good deed goes unpunished.
Of course.
And the order to be rescinded is you just don't care no more. It was good. You can stay now. Hey, that magic circle thing, it fixed everything. You could stay. Cool. That's it. It's all over. Hallmark movie moment. We have Christmas together. Everybody's happy.
I didn't get it. I really didn't. I was like, wait a minute. The only thing that happened was they got demoted? Really?
He got demoted. Yeah. He got demoted. And it didn't matter that Keiichi remembered, because he finally remembered, at the tail end. At least I think he remembered. Not 100% clear on if he fully remembers, or if he just is he talking about the promise? Right. It's implied because she's in his memories that he's remembering, but he got time for that, as Brian says.
All we know is that God went, it's cool. He ordered one,
God
got
was
three.
Like, you know what?
I don't care.
Not that important. This is fine. I figured it out. Hey, guys, I found the remote. We're good.
Yeah.
You could stay.
It's basically what it looks like.
I found the remote. It was in the couch the whole time. You can stay. You don't have to come home. It's gonna be okay.
We found a new purpose for the bunny spiders, so we don't need you anymore
Yeah.
either, Scald. It's cool.
All good.
Come to
Skull
find
gets-
out, these guys are also angels.
Yes, the goddesses are angels, right? That's kind of, Belldandy's got the wings and the whole, that's sort of how they're playing it. It's sort of like a both at once kind of thing. Because again, that religious hierarchy isn't really not explained in this. I don't know if it's ever explained again because it's the only version of this story I've ever seen. I'm sure any listeners who want to
I'm sorry. I have to
let me
correct
know.
you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and add, this is the only version of this story I will ever see.
Fair. Okay. Well, you know what, Brian? I'm glad you say that because I feel like it's time to segue into our final thoughts on the 1993 seminal classic, Oh My Goddess, or Ah My Goddess, depending on which release you're reading. So, Brian, I am going to start with you. This was your first viewing of Oh My Goddess, and it sounds like your last viewing of Oh My Goddess as a franchise. So please, lay it on me.
I shaved my legs for this. I'm glad that when we pitch these things, whatever we're going to watch, we never do what I was talking about at the beginning, where it says this is like this, so you should be happy if you see this, right?
Right.
We never do that. We just say we're going to watch this, and whether you get hoodwinked next week or not, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because if any expectations was set for this, I would have been pissed. I would have said, fuck you. Somebody would have felt some wrath. But we had never done that. So I can't really be upset. We just said, I feel like back when Lynette pitched us to watch 3x3 Eyes, because she thought it was going to be cool. And then come to find out it was not cool. And we had issues with it. This is even worse because if they do not take the time to lay out why we should be feeling it or anything here, I'm instantly going to have a problem with it. Instantly.
Yeah.
So we normally take notes.
Yeah.
And our notes are normally full. I only had 2 notes. Because I got sick and tired. I'm just going to watch it to say I watched it. I'm not going to devote not one iota of finger energy to type on my wonderful iPhone, which I'm the only one that has. And I'm not going to, nothing. I refuse.
How far into it did you get before you said to yourself,
I watched the whole
this
thing.
is not worth my time?
Oh, how far?
How far did you get into it before you said, I'm not taking any notes for this? This is horseshit.
The first Spider Bunny.
Okay. All right.
After the Spider Bunny, I was like, man, fuck this shit. The only thing I will devote to this is and maybe a little bit of just memory to say, you know what? I could have phoned this in. I could have phoned my work that we've done here today. Because, the truth of the matter is, the way that you guys got on me about watching Akira, and I never finished Akira, that's the way that's what I was trying to go with for Vic and say,
well, we know.
What, you've been this entire time and you have not finished this thing? Well, why didn't you? I completely understand.
Yeah.
Because I felt that way about Akira.
Yeah.
And I did the work to make sure you guys knew that Akira did have even more of an impact than Akira did. And he couldn't even finish it. So
I will have to defend Akira. Akira has had a far larger cultural impact than Oh My Goddess. Oh My Goddess just got
I'm sorry. I
hella
haven't
popular.
heard. Have we said Akira's had a video game?
As
Yes.
a matter of fact.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, Citizen Kane doesn't have a video game, but it's still considered like super effective. It's like really important for cinema.
Touche. Touche. I hope you feel better. Defend his honor.
Oh yeah, all right.
Like-
So yeah, feel that, Brian. So I'm gonna go with I'm just guessing based on the vibe of this conversation that this is a no on a recommendation to our listeners for Oh My Goddess, the OVA.
If you're trying to kill yourself with diabetes, go right ahead.
Fair enough.
If
All
you
right.
got care about your insulin levels and you're ready to end it all, this is the one for you. But I promise you, you're not good. There's no fucking doctrine for how any of this shit works.
Especially not in this 5-episode OVA. I have no idea if they expand on the lore at all in anything else, but I've never given it the time, so I couldn't tell you.
And when I heard, huh?
Oh my God, it's broken.
Seriously, this anime broke Brian. It is soul-suckingly saccharine. He was not able to process.
Because there's no Buddha. There's no, there's nothing. There's no Buddha. Nothing fucking matches. Nothing matches. Are you
Right.
Valkyries? No. Are you? There's no connection between the goddess of what you are and the religion of what we're supposed to be worshiping here on Earth. You're just not even. It's like there was a customer service line for God. Fuck out of here. Jesus is on the main line. Fuck you.
Well,
Watch more animes like this. I need to see. We need to see Brian break more.
and at this point, we're going to announce we're watching the entire Oh My Goddess catalog starting next episode.
It doesn't make sense. It makes my balls itch. I do not like it. Like everything, not just my balls. You ever have a fucking hemorrhoid? I would rather
No.
have all the hemorrhoids. I hate this shit. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. You guys led me astray. And
Hey,
hell, for the whole month that we've been watching this, we watched it and I sat on it. And I wanted to, man, I only watched it one time. And I legit came into this thinking that I was worried that I was not
This-
going to be able to talk intelligibly about any of this. Hate. Burning, searing hate. Like homegirl from Clue. When she was talking about how much she hated, flame.
flame coming from the side of my face.
I hated this.
Oh, man.
But you know what I hate worse? Nothing. This has replaced wooden vagina. Nothing.
Really? Really? This has usurped 3x3 eyes in your eyes. This has usurped Burn Up W. This is it. This is the pinnacle for you.
Look. Yeah. This is worse. Because
All right.
nothing makes sense. Burn Up W, I
Alright.
at least know why I hate it. I can't. I can't.
All right.
And I'm pre-diabetic. You fucking asshole.
There.
Oh my gosh.
Ryan, thank you for making your thoughts known. I really appreciate your contribution. I'm going to take this moment to hand it over.
Look, stop. One more thing. If I find out that you have all if y'all ponyo me on this shit, if y'all ponyo me on this shit, I'm fucking done.
Oh God.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you,
Yay.
Brian, so much.
Now, please continue and
All right.
let me know y'all's final thoughts. I'm waiting.
I'm gonna-
With my resignation letter waiting.
And at this point, I feel safe to hand it over to Vic. Vic, you have an opportunity to follow Brian on your final thoughts. You'd said you'd seen part of this before, and now you've had a chance to revisit it in its entirety. So how do you feel about Oh My Goddess?
I feel like I still don't know enough about what's going on. It's just like a lot of the OVAs that were released around that time. They were either long, they were manga for years, or, they were the OAV and then you had a series instantly after. It's just, it feels like there was too much information that couldn't be crammed into 5 30-minute episodes, and so they didn't. And it just left a lot on the table. Unlike Brian, I didn't hate it, but I feel like it wasn't anywhere near a favorite either.
Understood.
I feel like it needed... like I said, they just tried to cram too much into 5 half-hour episodes. It was just not enough time to get a feel for what actually is going on. And who knows, between the movies and the TV series and everything else, and they may have filled that all out. But beyond that, it's like, unless you like the wholesome, sweet anime, nothing action-oriented, nothing violent, nothing gratuitous, nothing harem, nothing like that, it's fine. And I don't think it deserves that level of hate Brian is giving it. But that's my opinion.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you.
Love you, Brian.
So, Lynette, I was happy to find out that this wasn't your first time with the Oh My Goddess characters.
Which is a first
for us. It was your
us.
first time with, but it was the first with the OVA. This
Yes.
particular OVA.
Yes.
So, do tell me your thoughts.
So I saw the newer version, and the anime is cleaner in the series. Of course, they get more money and stuff, but it still follows the same super sweet. I think I saw maybe 2 episodes before I was like, I really don't need to continue. I saw the OVA, and I was like, can I just watch the intro? I think the intro is fine. We don't really need to. I feel bad. I couldn't get into it. I wasn't drawn into it. The most extreme level of violence was the occasional slap, and then the little hit, and then at the end of it, everybody. It can't be violent if someone hits you and then goes, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hit you that hard. What happened?" And
Right.
So they had, like you said, they had a level of urgency, but there really was no fear for it. It was like, why are you afraid? They're just gonna tickle fight you. It's okay. It's all it is a tickle fight. And but at the end of it, I was like, this is no. I need to go watch Murder and Mayhem now, because I can't. I need to go watch Dark Knight with the Joker.
May I suggest Blue Eyed Samurai? Yeah.
I really, because by the end of it, it was so sweet. It was disgusting. I don't know. I don't know how you can put it. It's like, since there's no conflict, there was no reason for the sweetness. Like for me, I felt like they didn't earn it. You didn't earn that level of sweetness, because there was nothing for you to compete against at all. I mean, even their baddest guy was like more along the lines of, yeah, I just really like her egg song, so we're going to kidnap her and win her in this bet because we just, she's cool. It's awesome. Don't worry, nothing.
We just want to hang out. Yeah.
There was none of that. So my thing is I would say, if you've been following along with what we've been watching, this does not fit anything that you've been watching. I thought Butt Attack Punisher Girl was enough to be like confusing with whatever was going on. This was even worse, because it was just like,
I would take Butt Attack Punisher Girl any day. At least then we know who the fuck they're following. We know Buddha.
It was very, very. It was very, very. They got up to a point and then we're like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that, but we're going to skip ahead.
Right.
and then, oh my gosh, God is calling. And then, no, we're going to skip ahead. He has other things to do. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. Everything works out. Everything's good. We're just going to
Yep.
make everybody happy. And I'm just sitting there going, I don't get it. So I would say is if you've been watching the animes that we've been watching for this whole thing, don't watch this one because it won't fit with what we've been watching.
It is
Except for
important
the
to
intro.
say.
Except for the intro, that is beautiful animation. Just watch the
Look.
intro.
Look, we've discussed how we don't stand behind hentai, and this has more. I have more of an issue with than that. We talked about how that Cool Devices was, and how we really just. I'm just. I know why I don't like Cool Devices. There's no. I don't like being confused. I don't like that anything that you do does not matter.
Right.
This is the Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 of fucking anime.
We're gonna die now. Thanks.
Brian, I actually appreciate that analogy. So, my final thoughts on this, it's one of those things where watching it, I had to stop to think who the audience for this. The audience for this is not a mindless midlife man.
Nope.
That
Sorry.
much
Nope.
is evident.
Sorry. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
definitely not. So I tried to find an audience for this. I tried to think about who the audience for this was, and if it's for those people.
Flag on the play.
Yeah.
Flag on the play.
What do you got, Big? This is my
Flag on
final
the play.
thoughts, man. You're interrupting here, so I'm gonna
I apologize for
and let me get through them.
But the problem is, it's not like I don't like this because of the fact that I'm not the audience. There are flaws that make
Yes.
it impossible for me to like this. It's not like I'm
Understood.
being. It's not like I'm. Oh my gosh, I prefer football versus rugby. That's not what this
Sure.
is.
Right.
This is. Go ahead.
Time.
You're getting flagged on
Right,
your
you've
flag.
had like 17 final thoughts.
Yeah, we gotta put a hold.
Brian, I
And
understand
your
your
first
position.
one was like 30 minutes long almost.
Do let me finish. Do let me finish, and you might see where I'm coming at with this. I tried to think about who the audience for this was, and I realized I wasn't it. So I thought perhaps the intended audience for this is something like teenage girls, something like that, teenagers. I thought, okay, but teenage girls aren't stupid, so they're gonna want something with a plot, something that I get saccharine, I get the lovey-dovey, I get the happy-go-luckiness of it all. I get all that, and I get what they were trying to do with it. One of the chief complaints people have about Marvel movies these days is that the stakes aren't there, and that the plot points aren't thought out, and that nothing matters in these movies anymore. So people write them off. They don't like the Marvel movies now because they feel like these are the issues that they have with them. And this anime suffers from a lot of those same criticisms that Marvel movies have. The stakes here didn't matter. Plot points were not. You didn't spend any time with plot points. They skipped right past them because they were trying too hard to hit story beats that they were just trying to hit. And so story beats, they didn't get earned. So whereas your complaint about a Marvel movie is that hero's moment wasn't earned because they skipped too many important things, and you were supposed to root for this hero, and now nobody cares because we didn't spend any time with the plot. Those same criticisms matter here. They hold just as much weight here. You want to have a story where the hero rises to the occasion and champions against evil. You got to make it earn. And the same holds true for stories like this sort of just this saccharine Hallmark movie sort of thing. Even in a Hallmark movie, there is a conflict. the tiniest conflict, the most paper-thin plot imaginable. But it's still basically coherent, and it pretty much can be summarized with shitty communication. He didn't explain to her why they were found together. Whatever. All of that is everything that is challenging about Oh My Goddess. It's missing out on the meat of the story, the purpose of its existence, to make those heroes' moments matter. Eiichi's love for Belldandy can't be explained in a flashback with a ring when he was a toddler. He's literally risking his life because he loves Belldandy so much, and this orbital beam laser thing is going to take her away. And it doesn't matter, because at no point other than I'm lonely and short does he have any real motivation or challenge to his emotional state with her. Like, there's no stakes to it. And that's ultimately my problem with Oh My Goddess. Now, that might be solved in a longer format. The problem is that wasn't the format I had. It was 1993. They had 5 episodes, and they couldn't pull it off in 5 episodes. I get that there's a manga. I get that there's TV series. I get that there's movies. I get there's all this other shit. But this was their one shot, right? These 5 episodes were the shot we were given by Animeiko in the 90s to tell a compelling story that had stakes, that made you care about these characters. And other than the fact that literally nobody in this anime is evil, there's nobody to root for. Not really. But I think even a teenage girl who this was targeted towards, feel like they were probably left a little bit wanting too, because there was nothing for them. There was no victory to be served here, other than God gave up, I guess. So yeah, visually beautiful. Sure, we say that about a lot of anime, visually beautiful. Music was cute and sweet, and a sort of like 90s pop kind of anime pop thing. I dug it. I like that. But ultimately, it didn't matter about any of these characters or how it ended. Belldandy could have gone home. Wouldn't have really mattered. Belldandy wiping out memories doesn't really matter. Erd got demoted again, doesn't really matter. Nothing mattered because the stakes weren't there. So it makes this harder to recommend, especially when there's such a huge variety of anime for you to enjoy. Now, in this day and age, as an anime fan, you've got just every fucking option under the sun. Everybody's got fucking anime. Netflix has anime. Hulu's got anime. Crunchyroll's got all the anime, apparently. It's even fucking Disney Plus has anime to a degree. And with all of these options you have laid at your feet, though picking this one up seems like a waste of your time and your intelligence. I think the audience is smarter than this anime thinks they are. And that while you're going to get that sweetness, it's all empty calories. Right? You can eat this dessert and it's going to taste super sweet. It's almost too sweet. You're uncomfortable with how sweet it is. And by the time it's over, you just feel fat. And you don't feel good about it at all. It's more self-loathing than you enjoying the actual dessert. So I can't in good conscience recommend this to anime fans, even if the only thing you're looking for is the artwork. Even if the only thing you watch anime for is enjoying how beautiful something is. Oh, do a Google image search and save yourself the trouble, because it's about as deep as this gets. You could probably piece together this whole story from the covers to the manga. That's about as deep as it is, yeah. So, Brian, I hope that my final thoughts explained my position a little bit better. And that's what I was trying to get across. You feel free to rip into me now if you like, though.
Well, before he starts, I do have a question. Does anybody feel bad for ripping on this because of how sweet it is? I feel like I'm one of those people who walked down the street and knocked over a 5-year-old kid and then laughed at them and then walked away. It's bad because it's not something that I would ever recommend, but it's so sweet that that's what I feel like. I feel like I just walked down the street and hit a child, and now I feel like I'm a terrible person.
I can't recommend a single Hallmark movie, right? Like, I've watched a ton of them. I'm a married man. Hallmark movies are like, it's going to happen. But I would never recommend a single one of them. And it's not that they're not well acted or anything. It's just they're not good, right? Like, objectively, they're not particularly good. So yeah, I feel a little guilty about harping on this because it tries so fucking hard to be so fucking sweet. But again, like the Marvel complaints, like, there's no meat to this. There's no. You want to be sweet? I appreciate being sweet. Hello Kitty's fucking sweet. Can't sit through that shit either. Like, there's got to be stakes to the story. And there aren't any. So yeah, I feel a little guilty. It's like eating up the cute kid in class, I guess. But
Like, that's like the guilt that I feel. It's like I feel like I just walked in and like hit some kid, and then just walked out.
I feel like Ogre in Revenge of the Nerds. Like, I just walked in a room, shoved the kid with the glasses over, was like, nerd, and like that was, like I'm the problem.
Problem is, we are so objective in how we attack these things. We
It's fair.
spend a great deal of time trying to make sure. And honestly, even this, I didn't let my disdain for this. I let the review happen. And there have been times where I have felt anger, and then I have said, you know what? Well, damn, I didn't understand it. Or we have the moment where you three like it and I hate it.
Yeah, that's never happened
Or
before.
you three hate it and I like it. We've
Right.
had those moments.
Yeah.
I'm just more vocal about, or more creative in expressing how much the color of my disdain. I'll give you that. I'm
That's fair. That's
way.
fair.
I have a dark pit in my soul, and I'm willing to channel that. So you
Yeah.
guys can be eloquent in talking about, oh, it's sweet, it's saccharine. Man, fuck y'all. Fuck that. No.
Did you make a drink for this one?
Huh?
Yeah.
Did you make a drink for this one?
Bacon
Yeah.
fat.
It's 12
I've been drinking
pounds of
bacon
sugar
fat.
and 8 ounces of vodka.
I've been drinking bacon fat this entire time because it's so sweet. I need to load up on fucking sodium. It's bacon fat the entire time. Bacon
Would you
fat
not
and
recommend
vodka.
drinking that?
Matter of fact,
Brian,
I'm drinking. That's what it is. It is a whole Crisco jar full of Thanksgiving drippings that I collected, and then I just added fucking vodka to it. I don't even care. I don't even care. Nobody else cared. They don't care about my sugar. I don't care about my high blood pressure now. So there we go.
All right. Brian, do you, now that I've finished my final thought, do you feel like I've presented myself well enough? Like, you were ready to come at me about this, but did I stick the landing is what I'm asking.
No, you stuck
All right.
the landing in fucking syrup. You're landing in syrup and you're trying to walk it off talking like, oh shit, I'm tracking this sugar all through your house. I'm so glad that you're so eloquent about it. But what I'm saying is they didn't think enough of your points are they thought that they were smarter than us.
Yeah.
I can be upset at you thinking I'm a fucking idiot and then passing this
Yeah.
off and saying, hey, you're supposed to like this. I'm just going to put these elements in there, throw them up at you, throw it at the wall, and you're supposed to fucking accept it.
Right.
I'm past the point where you give me a shit sandwich and I'm supposed to eat it and think it is avant-garde. Fuck you. If you don't want to put effort into it, you deserve my entire.
Fair point. Yeah, it was a moment in time, maybe. I don't know. Because it worked. To whatever degree it worked, and it got insanely popular. I think the character designs were pretty compelling. Yeah, that's some of the highlights I can give you. There's something about the way that the character designs have this flowing waviness to the hair. And I noticed it, and I was like, these are really good character designs. I didn't say they were good character writing, but visually good character design.
Can I do your closing when you get to keep calm? Can I do that part?
Let's do it. Absolutely.
All right, let me know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're good. I even on anime that we harp on, I usually find things about it that I liked. I liked the music. I liked the character designs. I liked the visual styling of these things. None of that's enough to warrant recommending this anime. All of the things I liked about it can be enjoyed without even having seen the anime. But there were good things in it, not enough to carry it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah, just skip it, listeners. And if you hate us for it, let us know. We'd love to hear how wrong we are in any capacity about this, because I have a feeling that Brian's ready to challenge any thought on that.
You can find me at Greek Grotto _ Kaiju Monster Love Godzilla.
Nice try.
At eatshit.com. So, all right, well, I guess that's going to do it for our show today. What do you say? Until next time, keep calm and...
Our next episode, I finally finished Akira.
You've just been privy to the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd, presented by Geek Grotto. For show notes and corrections, or for general geeky fun, you can visit our website at geek-grotto.com. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, please like, follow, and subscribe.